Hi, my name is Chris, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how you can compile CPRS using the community version of Delphi. So we need to get a couple prerequisites. The first one is Git. So if we download for Windows, and then we hit save. And while we're at it, we also need to download CMake. We hit download the latest release. We want to download it for Windows. And so Git has finished downloading, so we can go ahead and install Git. And so I just take all the defaults here. They work fine. Okay, so now Git has been installed. We're going to uncheck the box for view release notes and hit finish. And now we can install CMake. Hit next. Again, this is another one that we can take. We do want to add CMake to the path for all users. This will make it easier for us to run CMake when we're ready. Other than that, we can take all the defaults. So while that finishes up installing, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here to GitHub to the Osera Sandbox and Vista. And we're going to copy this Git URL. And then we are done with our web browser. This is still taking a little bit of time. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and go to the Git bash. Then we can finish the CMake wizard. And so I like to create a projects directory to store all my projects. So I'm going to put this in there. And so this is an empty directory. So what we can do is we can type in git clone, and then we can paste what's on our clipboard. And while that clones, we can go ahead and install Delphi. And so you do have to sign up for the community edition on the Delphi website. I'm not going to cover that in this video. So here you have to agree to the licensing agreement. And so I've already installed Delphi at least once on this machine that already has the license, so I'm just going to use my existing license. So we can hit install. And then there'll be a few checkboxes that we'll need to install here in a moment. And so now we can install Delphi for Windows 32-bit community. We don't need Delphi for iOS or any of the other ones that are here. Hit continue. We do need a couple of extra things. So we do need the T-chart standard installed. And depending upon what you might run for tests, I would recommend installing the D-Unit unit testing framework. And now we can hit install. Okay, Delphi is now installed, so now we can hit start working. So now, since this is the first time I've started it, it's going to ask me a whole bunch of questions. So I want the dark theme. We hit next. You can set up the Git so it knows where to find the Git executable. So if you click on the Git button, then we go to the Git executable. It installed the 64-bit version, which is in Program Files, Git, bin, and git.exe. And now we can hit OK. And so now we can hit Get Started. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and minimize Delphi because we don't need it right now, and we'll come back to it in a moment. So what we need to do is we need to make another folder for our build. So I'm going to name that Vista Build. We go into the Vista repo. We're going to check out Plan 6. So there's another command prompt that gets installed with Delphi. So if we open up Embarcadero Rad Studio, and we go to the Rad Studio command prompt, and so if you actually specify the ../Vista, it will actually fill in the source code and the binaries for us. And so now we can have the build Delphi, we can hit configure. It automatically fills in the XUDigSig. We hit configure again. And now you can see there's no items in red, which means that we're now ready to generate. We hit generate. And now we can close CMake. And so now we can go back to Delphi. And so we can hit File and Open Project. And so now we can browse to where we put all of our items. So if we go to this PC, C, Users, Users, Projects, Vista Build. And so the first one we need to open is Borland D. I think is under the CPRS. Yeah. So I'm going to use the short names for this. Is that it's going to be Borland _D, and then there's a suffix of like XE8 or something like that after it. That all depends upon the version of Delphi that you're using. But we want to have Delphi _D as our first project that we install. So if we click on the D project and hit open, that creates a project group for us, and Delphi _D is now part of our project group. For the rest of these, what we're going to do is we're going to add to the project group. So we're going to hit add existing project. So the next one that we're going to do is XWB _R. And so we need to go to the BDK for this. And we're going to select the dproj for that. And we're going to do this again. And now we're going to use the D. We're going to select the D project. I just keep collapsing them to make it easier. Existing project. So now we need to go back to our CPRS. Now we're looking for VA shared R, which will be under the VA directory, and then the dproj. Existing project. And then the VA 508 access, which is going to be under 508 accessibility. The D project. Open. And now add an existing project. Go back to CPRS. And this will be CPRS lib. Nope. CPRS chart. Nope. I forget where this one is. There it is. CPRS lib OR chart or OR CTRLS D. Oh, we want the dproj. And then now we want CPRS chart. Go back to CPRS chart, and the dproj for that one. And so if you just hit cancel, this will leave all the things in, and then we will do the compile, which will fix all of this. So we hit cancel. So CPRS has got a lot of ones in here. So now, if you right-click our project group, and we say build all, just going to walk through them one by one, which you can see in the project right here in this dialog. Okay, so the most important thing here is to make sure there's no errors. You can also check the box that says automatically close on successful compile. For right now, I'm going to leave it open so then you can see everything that goes on. So we're going to hit OK. And so now for all the D projects, what we need to do is we need to install them. So we're going to right-click Borland Delphi, Borland D, and we're going to hit install. And I'll say it's installed. XWB_D, and we're going to hit install. VA508 access, install. And then ORCTRLS. Hit OK. So now everything's installed. So now, oh, I forgot, I'm not running it local on this machine. Parameters. Here you just normally put in your normal S&P command line arguments if you're familiar with CPRS. So I put in the right IP address this time. And now we hit run. And there we go. And so the version of the server I had available does not work with this version of CPRS, but it all compiles with the community version of Delphi. And if it wasn't for my Vista server, I'd be able to connect and ready to go. So I hope that gets you started on developing Delphi with the Community Edition if you're able to use it. Thanks.